Have you ever wondered what makes people follow a leader without a single doubt? In a world where loyalty is fragile and trust is rare, the ability to inspire unwavering devotion is a mystery worth unraveling. Niccolo Machiavelli, the Renaissance philosopher, understood this better than most. He saw leadership not as a gift of charisma, but as a calculated art, a philosophy of influence rooted in the deepest corners of human nature. To lead without being questioned, you must master the balance between fear and admiration, strategy and sincerity. This isn't about deceit for selfish gain. It's about understanding the psychology of power and using it wisely. Imagine a leader who commands a room with a single glance, not because they demand it, but because others feel compelled to follow. Picture a king on a shadowy throne, his crown barely visible, yet his presence undeniable. Today, we'll explore Machiavellian intelligence through a philosophical lens, diving into the principles that make people surrender their doubts and follow you, willingly, unquestioningly. Let's begin by asking, what drives people to follow? Is it fear, hope, or something far deeper? Let's step into the mind of a leader who knows the answer. Machiavelli believed that to lead, you must first understand what moves people. Humans are complex but predictable. They are driven by fear of loss, the desire for security, and the longing for purpose. A true leader taps into these primal forces, crafting an image that speaks directly to them. Start with certainty. In a world of chaos, people crave stability. If you project unshakable confidence, others will see you as a beacon in the storm. Think of a captain steering a ship through a tempest. His steady hand on the wheel calms the crew, even as waves crash around them. But certainty alone isn't enough. Machiavelli taught that a leader must be both loved and feared, a delicate balance that ensures loyalty. Show kindness to gain affection, but let them glimpse your strength so they dare not cross you. Never let them see weakness. Doubt in a leader breeds rebellion. Instead, cultivate an aura of inevitability. Make them feel that following you is the only path forward. This isn't about force, it's about perception. By aligning your actions with their deepest needs, you create a bond that feels unbreakable, a loyalty that runs deeper than words. How do you build this unshakable influence? Let's break it down. First, master the art of listening. People reveal their fears and desires in what they say and what they hide. A leader who understands these unspoken needs can offer exactly what others seek, whether it's safety, recognition, or a sense of belonging. Second, control the narrative. Machiavelli wrote that appearances matter more than reality. If you want to be seen as wise, speak with purpose. Let every word carry weight. Avoid over-explaining. Silence can be more powerful than a speech. Third, reward loyalty, but never let it be taken for granted. A small gesture of appreciation can bind someone to you, but unpredictability keeps them on their toes. Finally, anticipate resistance. Not everyone will follow willingly, so identify potential dissenters early. Win them over with tailored promises or isolate them before they sow doubt. Picture a chessboard. You, the king, must think 3 moves ahead, ensuring every piece moves in harmony. Influence isn't about coercion. It's about making others believe they chose to follow you. Let's step back and reflect. What does Machiavellian intelligence reveal about human nature? At its core, it's a mirror to our vulnerabilities. We follow leaders because we fear uncertainty, because we crave meaning in a world that often feels meaningless. Sartre might argue that this surrender to authority is a denial of our freedom, a refusal to face the anguish of choice. But Machiavelli would counter that freedom is an illusion for most. People want to be led, to be given a path. This tension lies at the heart of leadership. To guide others, you must exploit their need for direction, yet do so with a moral compass. True influence isn't about power for its own sake. It's about creating order, fostering loyalty, and building something greater than yourself. Think of a shepherd guiding a flock, not through force, but through the promise of greener pastures. The philosophical leader understands this. Influence is a responsibility, a tool to shape the world while navigating the shadows of human desire. So how do we lead without being questioned? Machiavellian intelligence teaches us that influence is a dance of perception and purpose. It's about knowing what drives others and aligning it with your vision. Here are 5 philosophical takeaways to guide you. First, embody certainty. People follow those who seem to know the way. Second, balance kindness with strength. Too much of either breeds contempt. Third, use silence as a weapon. Let your presence speak louder than words. Fourth, anticipate resistance and address it before it grows. Fifth, lead with a purpose that transcends yourself. People are drawn to a cause greater than their fears. Reflect on this. How can you inspire loyalty in your own life? What kind of leader do you want to be? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's explore the philosophy of influence together. Until next time, lead not with force, but with the quiet power of understanding. History offers us lessons in Machiavellian influence. Consider Julius Caesar, a leader who understood the power of perception. He didn't just conquer lands, he conquered hearts, staging triumphs to show his people both his strength and his generosity. Caesar knew that to be unquestioned, he had to be seen as indispensable. Or take Cleopatra, a master of influence through charm and intellect. She won over powerful men like Mark Antony not through force, but by aligning her image with their desires, becoming a symbol of allure and wisdom. These leaders thrived because they played to human nature. They gave people what they needed to feel secure, inspired, and loyal. Their legacy teaches us that influence is timeless. It's about understanding the fears and hopes of those you lead and crafting a persona that answers both. What can we learn from them? That true power lies in the stories we tell about ourselves. But here's a question. Is it ethical to wield such influence? Machiavelli's philosophy often feels cold, calculating. Some might call it manipulative. Yet there's a deeper truth here. Influence, like any tool, depends on how you use it. A leader who manipulates for selfish gain will eventually fall. Resentment festers and loyalty fades. But a leader who uses influence to create stability, to inspire growth, can change the world for the better. Think of Martin Luther King Jr. His influence came from understanding the collective pain of a people and channeling it into a vision of hope. He led without being questioned, not because he deceived, but because he spoke to a universal truth. The ethics of influence lie in your intent. Are you leading to control or to liberate? As philosophers, we must ask ourselves, what legacy do we want to leave? Let's bring this philosophy into your daily life. You don't need to be a king or a conqueror to wield influence. You can start where you are. At work, project confidence in meetings, even when you're unsure. People will trust your direction. With friends, listen more than you speak, and when you do speak, offer insights that resonate with their struggles. In relationships, show strength by setting boundaries, but balance it with vulnerability to build trust. Small actions compound. A steady gaze, a well-timed pause, a thoughtful gesture. These are the threads of influence. Imagine you're at a family gathering and a disagreement arises. Instead of arguing, you calmly propose a solution that addresses everyone's needs. They follow, not because you forced them, but because you understood them. Influence is a skill honed through practice and reflection. Power and influence are intertwined, but they're not the same. Power can be taken by force, but influence must be earned through understanding. Machiavelli knew this. A prince who rules through fear alone will face rebellion, but one who rules through loyalty will endure. Reflect on your own life. Where do you hold power, and where do you hold influence? Perhaps you have authority at work, but your team only follows because they must. True influence would mean they follow because they believe in you. This is the philosophical challenge of leadership, to transform power into something deeper, something voluntary. Soren Kierkegaard once said that to lead is to suffer, to bear the weight of others' expectations. But it's also to illuminate, to show others a path they didn't know they needed. Influence, at its best, is an act of creation. We've journeyed through the philosophy of influence, from Machiavelli's pragmatic strategies to the ethical questions they raise. Leadership isn't about domination. It's about understanding the human soul and guiding it with purpose. Whether you're leading a team, a family, or just yourself, the principles remain. Project certainty, balance strength with kindness, and always align with others' deepest needs. As you move forward, ask yourself, how can I lead in a way that inspires, not commands? What kind of influence do I want to wield? The answers lie in your actions, your words, your silences. Take a moment to reflect on your own journey. Where can you apply these lessons? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's continue this exploration together. Until our next philosophical dive, lead with wisdom, not force, and watch the world bend to your quiet power. Empathy is the hidden key to influence, often overlooked in Machiavelli's writings. To lead without being questioned, you must feel what others feel. See the world through their eyes. This doesn't mean weakness. It means strategic understanding. When you acknowledge someone's fears or dreams, you create a bond that transcends logic. Imagine a teacher who notices a struggling student, not just their grades, but their quiet despair. By offering a kind word, a moment of understanding, the teacher gains that student's loyalty for life. Empathy builds trust, and trust builds influence. But be cautious. False empathy is easily spotted and breeds resentment. Genuine care, however, turns followers into allies. As the philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer said, compassion is the basis of morality. Extend that to leadership, and you'll find people following you not out of obligation, but out of devotion. What legacy will your influence leave behind? A leader who rules through fear may win in the short term, but their name fades with time. A leader who inspires, however, creates ripples that last generations. Think of philosophers like Socrates, whose influence came not from power, but from questions that forced others to think. His students followed him because he illuminated their minds, not because he demanded it. Your legacy as a leader depends on the values you instill. Do you leave behind a culture of fear or one of growth? Influence is a double-edged sword. It can manipulate, but it can also uplift. As you navigate your path, consider this. The greatest leaders are those who make others feel seen, heard, and inspired. Lead with that in mind, and your influence will echo far beyond your lifetime. Now it's time to act. Influence isn't a theory, it's a practice. Start small. Today, in your next conversation, listen deeply, speak with intention, and notice how others respond. Try projecting certainty in a moment of uncertainty. Watch how people gravitate toward your calm. Experiment with Machiavelli's balance of kindness and strength. Offer a compliment, but set a firm boundary. Over time, these habits will shape how others see you. The philosophy of influence is a lifelong journey, one that requires patience, reflection, and courage. As you grow, you'll find that leadership isn't about control, it's about connection. So take the first step. Lead with purpose and let your influence unfold naturally. Share your progress in the comments. What did you learn about yourself? Let's keep this philosophical exploration alive.